now. I think
All right.
no. Cannot connect to your server. Make sure you're. What? There's always something going on. What the hell? Hey guys, hang tight.
I'm hanging.
Facebook. Hi Robert, how you doing? At least we're live on YouTube again.
Cool.
Hi everybody on YouTube. So I'm just getting Facebook situated here before we go live. Apparently I had issues with YouTube. It made me log in first before I was able to go live, and now it's being stupid again.
Well, it is Monday after all.
Uh, why isn't it connecting? Oh, you stupid thing. Seriously? Oh, there we go. Good to see you too, Rob. How's everybody doing tonight? We'll be getting ready for the recap in a few minutes. As if my Facebook decides not to be stupid anymore. It was working. Why is it not working anymore? This is what happens when we stream multiple platforms. Yeah. It's not working. Yeah, it wanted me to do the URL several times. I did the stream key. It's not working. What the hell? Oh, I guess I'm not going live on Facebook because it won't let me. Why is it not letting me? Let me try one more time. I'm gonna go live on my page. Let me get rid of it and then add it again. Yeah, it's not connecting. Anyways, I guess I can't go live on Facebook. So, sorry.
Their
Sorry about
loss.
the wait. Yep, their damn loss. It was live, and then YouTube was acting up because it wouldn't let me go live because I had to log back in again. Anyways, sorry about that, guys. So, welcome to our recap of Stranger Things Season 5, the first 4 episodes. So, hey, we have Jim with us again. Welcome back, Jim, from Soul of the Unexplained.
Thank
You
you. Thank you so
excited
much
about
for.
Season 5?
Oh my gosh, I've been waiting. How many years has it been since the last season? Yeah, I've been.
It's been
My
like 2
whole
or 3
family's
years.
been chomping at the bit for season 5, and now that we have the first 4 episodes, it's definitely lived up to the hype, especially the last 20 minutes of the fourth episode. Oh my gosh, that was
Yeah, yeah.
so worth the wait. Absolutely, yeah.
Awesome. Let me just make a short announcement that I'm live on my YouTube and not Facebook.
Miriam is live with that weird guy from the Soul of the Unexplained.
Awesome, and he's awesome too. We both like Stranger Things.
Yes, indeed. Team Steve all the way, man. Team
Yeah.
Steve.
So far, he's still alive. So far, everybody else is still alive, so that's a good thing.
Yep. Yep. And I guess we should probably warn people that if you haven't seen these 4 episodes of season 5 of Stranger Things, there will be spoilers. So,
Hmm. So, spoiler alert
yep,
for today. So, it
yep.
starts off for the first episode, The Crawl. It's chapter 1. We start off with the very first season when Will is in the Upside Down and what they just show a little bit more detail on what happened to him. So the Demogorgon, he's running from a Demogorgon, and Demogorgon captures him, brings him to some type of fort, Vecna's fort, and Vecna does whatever with him. He's like attached to like something like on his on his face, and that what changed probably changing him into something that I have no idea what. Like he seems to have more powers now, I guess. What's your take
Hmm.
on that, Jim?
Yeah, so it picks up and it kind of takes us back to what was the date? November 6, 1983, which is when
Yep.
the disappearance of Will Byers happened in season 1.
Hmm.
And we get to see what took place while Will was in the Upside Down, being held prisoner, if you will. And like you were saying, he's in one of these, he's being held against his will,
Hmm.
and this thing is attached to his mouth, and it looks, kind of like something you would see out of the Alien movies,
Yeah, reminded me of.
like one of the face hugger type things, and it's
Hmm.
clearly pumping some kind of material or something into presumably Will's mouth because that's where it's all connected. And quite obviously, as they've teased up through the seasons up to now, Will has this uncanny knack of being able to tell whenever Vecna or the Mind Flayer, whatever you want to call it, is nearby by getting, the hairs on the back of his neck just, start to raise. And it's like, so we're getting kind of a little glimpse of that. And I think it was a really cool way to start off this particular season because, yeah, it's basically taking us back to the very beginning, and it was kind of cool to see that.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I'm glad that they showed more detail on what happened and
Hmm.
see what happened exactly to Will. Why was he possessed? And like, see, I think it was like season 3 that he was possessed, and like what's going on now with him, which leads.
Yeah, and the other big thing that we saw was that this is the first time we had actual confirmation that Vecna was in fact aware of who Will was in the Upside Down because it's Vecna that's there uh, doing, hooking him up to this thing, and so clearly Vecna has been around since the very beginning, and that was a theory that was proven to be fact within the first 5 minutes of this first episode, which was
Yeah.
also kind of good to lay that groundwork that Vecna didn't just magically show up in season 4. He's
Mhm.
been there all along, and that was kind of cool to see that aspect of it.
Yeah, and makes you wonder, why did they take Will? Why Will? Why not anybody else?
Hmm. Yeah, the only thing I can speak to about that is that they talk about how Vecna seems to hone in on the people, specifically children, because they're easy targets for him.
Hmm.
Their minds can be, bent to his will, and if they're already going through difficult times at home, preteens, always struggling with their own identity, depression, kids that encounter bullying, or maybe their home life isn't the best. And so, if the kids that have these emotional and psychological challenges that they face every day seem to make an easy target for Vecna. And they kind of touched upon that as the episodes progressed
Yeah,
in season 5. So that might be a reason why.
it could be. Yeah. So later on, it starts off as soon as we're done seeing like Will in the Upside Down. We see that Hawkins obviously is on lockdown. Nobody in, nobody out. It's on pretty much quarantined.
Hmm.
So everybody's like stuck in town pretty much. Like after the major split.
Yep.
So everybody's pretty much trying to do day to day things. Like everybody's like huddled in like Mike Wheeler's house. Like that's not a very
Yeah.
comfortable. It must not be a very comfortable setup.
Yeah. It was kind of surreal to see the Wheeler household is now housing Joyce and her boys, and so all of them living under one roof is was kind of bizarre to see. And it was what was really funny was in that scene where they're having breakfast. Karen has fixed them all this beautiful breakfast,
Yeah.
and Ted is sitting at one end of the table and he's asks for the somebody to pass the bacon, and you see everybody's there at the breakfast table and they're all munching down on stuff and enjoying it, and so you just see this look of consternation on Ted's face, like, what are all these people doing here, and why am I allowing this to happen? And
Yeah.
so he asks for the plate of bacon, and so of course they pass it to him, but of course as the dish passes to each person, they all take something, and so by the time the plate gets to Ted, there's like a little tiny speck piece of bacon left, and you just see this look on Ted's face, like,
This
F
is
my
my cake.
life.
This is my house.
Yeah. So that was kind of cool to see.
Yeah, and it also shows exactly what's going on with Holly. Starting to show what's going on with Mike's younger sister Holly. Like she's seeing something in the window, somebody in the window,
Right.
and she's waving to him, and her mom's trying to get her attention. And like, Holly, come on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Yep.
saying like, who is she seeing? Who is this? Like, makes you wonder. And then later on, everybody's going to school, and poor Dustin's having a hard time, struggling, stuff like that. He's got the Helps Fire T-shirt on. He's getting picked on for it, and of course, he's grieving his friend.
Yeah, Dustin has no fear.
Yeah,
He's unashamed of the fact that Eddie was his friend, and of course, Dustin, better than anybody, knows that Eddie died a hero, and that's something that Dustin wishes that more people could see. But quite obviously, not all of the jocks that were part of Jason's group died when the big cataclysm happened at the end of season four. And so these jocks, they see Dustin coming back to school wearing the Hellfire Club T-shirt proudly and openly,
yeah,
and they're not having any of it, and it kind of goes sideways real quickly for Dustin, unfortunately.
yeah. That is unfortunate. I noticed people were like hitting hard on Dustin, like he's not friendly anymore. He's not like happy and usually funny, but can you blame him? He's lost his best friend. He's gone through
Yeah,
pretty much hell.
not at all. I mean, it's amazing that any of these kids are still able to function at all.
Yeah,
But especially Dustin. I mean, you got to consider what Dustin has been through since season one. He's kind of the brains of everything. I mean, he is so much wiser than his years let on. I mean, he's a boy genius is basically what he is, and he's unfortunately the things that he's seen with his own eyes, and the personal loss that he has suffered with having Eddie, who he had such a strong bond with Eddie, and to watch what happened to Eddie and to be there, at Eddie's side when Eddie finally passed away. I mean, that would be difficult for even the most hardened of soldiers and combat veterans
yeah,
to get over and get through, and yet Dustin is just trying to do his best to work his way through all this. And I think what we're seeing is we are seeing a Dustin that's a little more hardened around the edges,
yeah,
and but it's also by necessity. The his personality is now being forged literally by the fires of the trials that he's gone through, and I think we're going to continue to see Dustin being a little more defiant, a little more assertive, and but
Hmm.
he's always still going to be the Dustin that we all fell in love with in the beginning, and he's still in there. But I think we're going to see that out of sheer necessity and evolution, Dustin's going to become a slightly darker toned character. But it doesn't mean that the lighthearted Dustin that we all fell in love with isn't still in there. I think he still is.
Yeah, he is and he's pretty much the backbone of the group because he's good at technology. He's good at setting
Yep.
things up for plans for going onto the upside down or dealing with the upside down
Yep.
wherever.
There's no question if the party has a heart and soul, then that heart and soul is definitely Dustin Henderson, without question.
Exactly. Yeah. And then later on, we come across a poster in the school, a Jane Hopper poster, like missing 11, missing teen. Now here's the
Call the
funny
number, folks. Call the number.
here's the funny fact. People have actually called them. I can't believe that happened. People actually called the number. This is a funny article I found when people actually called. So it leaves when if you call it, supposedly there's like an 80s recorded message saying, "Thank you for contacting the Hawkins Police Department.
Uh,
Due to the recent 7.4 magnitude earthquake, Hawkins is currently under lockdown to ensure the safety of our residents." Yeah, earthquake. Okay, the
you know,
Hawkins Emergency Task Force is working closely with the Hawkins PD to locate missing persons, of which Jane Hopper is priority. We urge you, as a responsible citizen of Hawkins, to assist us in our search to locate her. That's supposedly the voicemail if you call the number. I don't know if I don't advise you guys to call the number. That's supposedly, but the message people have heard. So that's a funny fact.
what would have been really funny is if the phone number at the bottom of the poster was 867-5309. Because of course anybody that grew up in the 80s, they should recognize that phone number right away, right?
Okay. Yep.
867-5309. Yes, I'm that old, folks. Sorry.
Yeah. I was born in the last decade of the 80s, 89, so yeah, I'm not.
89's a good year. Right on. Cool.
So it shows what exactly happened to 11. She pretty much is in training, as you see, to try to defeat Vecna, or what happened to Vecna. Is he dead? Is he alive? Is he still causing trouble?
Hmm.
So she's being prepared for that, and she obviously broke a new record but after she jumped over the bus, and she wanted so badly to go with Hopper to this crawl. Apparently, they've done 37 crawls and nothing. The only thing they've seen are soldiers and stuff like that. Apparently, there's like a deep base in the Upside Down that's been set up. But I
Yep.
was pretty like surprised, like wow, they actually set up in the Upside Down. Like wow.
Yeah, that was a big reveal that they actually had built a base in the Upside Down, which seems kind of odd because we've been led to believe all along since season one that the air in the Upside Down, the atmosphere, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
is by nature toxic, right?
Yeah.
Anytime they sent people in from the Hawkins laboratory, when Brenner was conducting things, or even when Dr. Owens was running things from season two onward, they had to wear protective gear because the air, those little things you see floating in the air in the Upside Down, those are toxic particles of some kind. So the fact that they've been able to build a base in there, and we don't seem to see the people that are staffed in that base wearing, respirators and things like that to help them breathe in the atmosphere,
Yeah.
is kind of one of those things that made me scratch my head, like, okay, how'd that happen? But still cool nonetheless to see that the military have actually gone to the trouble to build a base in the Upside Down. I think was a really interesting development. And speaking of Eleven's powers, it was great to see that she has enhanced the powers that she already had. I mean, now she has the ability to not necessarily fly, but using her telekinetic powers, kind of like a lot of superheroes that we see, like in the X-Men and stuff like that, where she's able to use that telekinetic power that she has to propel herself over objects like the bus and some other objects that we see later on in later episodes. But we're dealing with an 11 now in season 5 who has a much greater grasp and control on her powers,
Hmm.
and that's really cool to see that she's no longer the shrinking Violet, kind of a reluctant user of the powers that she holds. She's fully embracing it and trying to make herself better and more powerful and more focused with the powers that she's been endowed with, and that's cool to see. I like that.
It is cool that she's adapted and that she's able to like increase them, probably to try to destroy Vecna. If he's still alive, is he alive? Maybe.
Right.
As we continue on with the recap, they show, okay, there's going to be another crawl at the laboratory where the portal is. So they have to prepare for that. And of course, 11 wants to go. Hopper obviously says no. She thought that she broke the record just because she went again before the announcement of the crawl. Like she's trying to like get Hopper like, hey, did I break the record? Did I break the record? I can probably go with you. And Hopper obviously says no. But he she pretty much did break the record, so she did a pretty good job there
Yep.
in training. So she's pretty much ready, but I guess Hopper wasn't ready to let her.
Just being the protective dad that he is.
Yeah, yeah. And I think she needs that, and she needs guidance, and that's what he is pretty much.
Yep.
Later on, we see Holly again. She's at the school. She's talking to this person named Mr. Whatsit, and the teacher catches her. Apparently, she's talking to somebody and obviously not there. So she has to stay after school. Ugh, how embarrassing. So
Hmm.
Mike actually tries to come in, pick her up. Like, what are you doing sitting there? I'm like, they told me to wait. So her mom and the teacher were talking in the office, and she was kind of nervous, upset about that.
Hmm.
So Mike actually tried to cheer her up and gave her like a special like sorcerer, like little sorcerer that she has to let her know that she's safe and that monsters can't get her. There's no such thing as monsters, as Mr. Whatsit says. Like there's
Hmm.
monsters that can get you.
Yep.
Yeah,
Gave her the good big brother talk,
yeah,
which
pretty
was nice to
much.
see.
Yeah,
Yeah. It shows that Mike quite obviously cares very much about his little sister.
yeah.
And for those of you that haven't seen any of these episodes yet, it's really cool to see that Holly Wheeler, the little sister that's been there ever since season 1, but she's always been kind of like this side character, non-consequential, but she's always been there on the side. And this season, Holly becomes a very central figure in the storyline of season 5, and
Oh
it's
yeah.
really it's really cool to see. And it's going to be interesting to see if maybe Holly has gifts like Will and 11. That'll be really cool to see. That's kind of what I'm secretly hoping for.
Makes you wonder if she got abducted the same way Will did.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, pretty much, yeah.
so of course they're preparing for the crawl, getting the van. There's the famous van and everything. Getting the radar set up right there.
Hmm.
So, what was your take on when they were getting ready? Were you nervous?
Um, I was a little bit nervous, but I'm thinking to myself, okay, there's no way they're gonna be so bold as to get, as to kill somebody off in the very first episode. At least
Mhm.
I was hoping that was the case. So it was more of an anxious of wanting to see, okay, how how well prepared is the team at doing these kind of activities. And from what we can see, the planning that goes into it, what I thought was really cool is as they're planning it, Mike has become like the chief strategist for everybody, which I think is just
Mm.
really shows how focused he is and the evolution that his character has taken to where he's always been kind of like the leader of the party, which of course consists of him and Lucas and Dustin and Will.
Yeah.
But now we're seeing that Mike is taking that role and he's now kind of in charge of coming up with the strategies to the extent that even Nancy and Jonathan and Steve, who are much older than than Mike, they've begun to realize that yeah, Mike knows what he's doing. Mike really does a good job of planning this out. He
Hmm.
articulates things very well, and so Mike has kind of become the de facto leader of when they do these type of crawl activities. And it was really cool to see them putting that kind of a responsibility on Mike. I really that's probably the biggest thing that I got out of that whole thing is that Mike is now, he's really settled into that role of becoming the de facto leader and strategizer.
Yeah. Yeah. It shows how organized they are after 37, 37 crawls they did, and they've
Right.
never been detected yet
Yep.
by any of the
Hmm.
soldiers or anyone.
Yep.
And, and unfortunately, Dustin missed the first crawl because obviously, as those who had watched, he got he went to see Eddie at the cemetery and got jumped by several guys. So
Hmm.
unfortunately, that was surprisingly he was alive from that. That's he got beat up bad.
Yeah, Dustin. Even in the face of being confronted by the remnants of the Hawkins basketball team
Yeah.
uh, at the cemetery, um, Dustin still stood his ground. He didn't cower, crawl up into a little ball in the fetal position and accept his fate. He met it head on and he let them know that you're not going to intimidate me. Do whatever you want to me, but it's not going to change. I'm going to remain who I am. I'm going to remain faithful to Eddie, and I'm going to continue to stick up for my friend. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, Dustin got quite a beating for doing that. But again, I think that all is going to play into the continuing evolution of the Dustin Henderson character because
Yeah.
he's going to need it. He's going to need that resilience, I believe, as the season progresses.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So they begin the crawl as you see here, they're doing the burn to open the portal, and you see the soldiers, the trucks going in. So Hopper goes in, sneaks in one of the trucks, and once they're in, something goes wrong, and that's what everything goes haywire. Like why there's like a Demogorgon that starts chasing the trucks and attacking the people, and I was really nervous. I was on the edge of my seat watching that. I'm like, what is gonna go on? If is Hawkins gonna be okay? Is he gonna have to defend himself from Demogorgon? The Demogorgon didn't get him, but it got pretty much everyone else in
Yep.
the trucks that were coming in. Like, why did that Demogorgon attack those particular trucks? Why didn't they? If with all the crawls that they had, why then? What do you think?
Well, I think really the thing we have to bear in mind is that Vecna is still there. He's still very much alive, and I think it's all progressing according to his plan.
Yeah,
And especially when you're in the Upside Down, you are 100% in his backyard, literally, and in his realm, where he basically can control everything that happens in the Upside Down. And so I think this was by design that he decided to send the Demogorgon to do what it ended up doing to this particular convoy as it was on its way to the base inside the Upside Down. And
Yeah.
for a while, for a few moments, I was genuinely afraid of what might happen to Hopper. That
Yeah.
him and the Demogorgon, going toe to toe. So definitely edge of the seat, tense moments for sure.
Yeah. Every single scene in this in these new episodes were on the edge of the seat.
Yep.
So obviously Hopper's okay, but he was ended up being stuck in the Upside Down. They lost him in the radar system that they had, and they couldn't get him back.
Hmm.
And eventually, that what happens next is Holly gets taken by the Demogorgon, and there's like a vicious scene. The parents get hurt really bad, and Holly's
Yeah.
gone.
This was my this was the moment where my heart is literally, skipping a beat, and I'm just like, because we knew before the season even began, the Duffer Brothers said to prepare yourselves because this is going to be the darkest series. There's going to be deaths of major characters, and there's going to be the brutality that you're going to see is going to be unmatched compared to anything that we've seen previously on the series. So
Yeah,
going into that, we already knew all bets were off. Every character is at risk, can be killed off at any given moment. And in my mind, and I know Miriam, I think you and I talked about this before
yeah,
a couple of weeks ago, was I was thinking that one of the first people that's going to go is Ted Wheeler, Mr. Wheeler,
hmm,
Nancy and Mike's dad, just because he's always been kind of one of those side characters that's always there, but he's never really gone through any kind of development,
yeah,
character wise. And so and of course, one of the teasers that we got and all the montages that were played in the trailers showed Karen and Holly hiding in a bathtub while a Demogorgon was seemingly coming after them. And so once this whole scene started to play out, I
hmm,
knew right then and there that's what was going to happen. And I was really worried that something was going to happen to Ted and Karen.
yeah,
And quite obviously, that sets up what happens in the beginning of episode number two. So I don't want to get ahead of ourselves too much.
yeah. I looked online. And it showed that it took them a week to film that bathtub scene of when the mother and daughter are both submerged underwater.
Hmm.
They had to do that for a week. That wow, that must have been exhausting. And
Yeah.
there's a picture of them behind the scenes. They look pretty much exhausted after they did that. And
Yeah.
the little girl that's playing Holly, she's fully clothed, and she had to get in the water with all these clothes on, like
Hmm.
plus wear a belt to keep her submerged underwater. So she had
Yeah.
to take swimming lessons in order to keep to hold your breath. Like that must have been an intense. That was an
Yeah.
intense scene when they're
It,
staying underwater like that.
it,
Like
it, it was. And we should also probably set it up by the fact that as this Demogorgon is bearing down on the Wheeler house, we see something that we've never seen before with Will Byers. And
mhm,
that is, it seems that he's able to be seeing first person as though he's in a first person shooter video game, that he's seeing
yeah,
through the eyes of the Demogorgon as it's approaching the Wheeler house. And that's something we've never seen before on the series because now all of a sudden it gives the impression that Will is able to see through the eyes of the Demogorgon.
mhm.
And that actually gets confirmed very shortly as this episode two starts to unfold.
Just
And
takes
that's,
you, yeah. It takes you back to the beginning, like what was Vecna exactly doing with Will to
hmm,
make him feel and do all those kinds of weird things. Like, what is his purpose?
yep,
What is he making him out to be somebody bad, or who knows? Like, good versus evil is happening
yep,
with that part.
yep,
So after the attack of the parents, obviously 11 goes after the Demogorgon that attacked the family and try to find Holly, but she hits a wall in her mind, and nothing. She can't find her. She can't find Vecna for some reason. She comes across Hopper, and they're both together. And Hopper's not too happy. Like, how'd you get here? What happened to Holly?
Yeah.
You did what? You drove instead of using the tunnels? Like, the tunnels would have been too slow.
Hmm.
Like, and one of the cameras caught her, like, hoodie or no hoodie, the camera's got her, that she's so they know she's
Yep.
in there. So they try to follow the Demogorgon, because it's obviously bleeding, and they literally hit a wall. A big, long, creepy looking wall that they can't penetrate through.
Hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's we've never seen anything like this. I mean, the wall kind of hard to explain. I mean, it's humongous. It's got the tendrils that are growing out of it, like we see out of everything else in the Upside Down. But it's also got like these little pods that are
Yeah.
embedded in it. And when Hopper tries to, cut one open, it
It heals
he's
itself, too.
he's able to stick the knife in and move the knife around. But as soon as he removes the knife, it automatically heals. It's like it just whatever it is, it's something unlike we've ever seen before in this particular series. But yeah, it's pretty alarming chain of events that ends up with 11 having to jump into the Upside Down after Ted and Karen Wheeler get not only attacked but brought to the verge of death. I mean, particularly Ted. Ted
Yeah.
is has to Ted's credit, he did go down swinging, right? I mean, he had the golf club and he took a
Mm-hmm.
swipe and he got at least one good hit onto the Demogorgon's head, but the Demogorgon swiped at him and I mean literally sent Ted going through multiple walls, and
Mm-hmm.
Ted definitely is not in good shape, and he's in a coma now, alive but in a
Yeah.
coma. And Karen we see ultimately what ended up happening to Karen. She as you would expect any loving mother to do, and Karen has always been a bit of a badass. I've just always had that feeling about her. And so she attacked the Demogorgon when she knew that it was either her or the Demogorgon to protect Holly. She went down swinging as well, and she got several good jabs into the Demogorgon before the Demogorgon sliced her a couple of times. And she's alive as well, but she's in very, very, very bad shape. So
Yeah.
the Wheelers are not doing so well, and of course that ended up with the realization that Holly was in fact taken. So
Mm-hmm.
11 jumps into the Upside Down before the portal that the Demogorgon opened up inside the Wheeler home. She jumps directly um, into the Upside Down, and that's where, as you said, she meets up with Hopper. And Hopper, of course, is not happy to see her, but she explains to him what happened, and so there they are, and they discover that wall, and it's pretty interesting stuff unfolding at this point.
Yeah, and it goes further. Like, the soldiers ended up showing up when they're at the wall, so they're trying to hide, and it shows they have something in the on the one of the trucks that bothers Elle, like, really badly. Like, she can't do her powers or anything. It's like kryptonite to her. Like, it bothers her ears. It gives her like an instant headache. Like, some type of frequency they're doing. So maybe that's how they're surviving the upside downs. Maybe with that type of frequency that they're using.
Yeah, it's some kind of directed energy weapon that appears to be sound based, frequency based, like you said. And what it does is it has the ability to completely nullify Elle's powers. She can't do anything as long as this beam of energy, whatever it is being directed at her, and so it renders her completely,
Powerless.
vulnerable. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, it's interesting to see how they're able to do that, and it's the first time we've seen anything like that being employed, which was pretty cool to see.
Yeah, yeah. And Hopper eventually does take the that thing out with his gun. He takes all the other soldiers out there, and they capture one of the guys that obviously peed on the wall. I think he was the one that peed on the wall, and they got
Right?
him captive in the
Yeah.
Upside Down. So him and 11 got this secret fort that they got built together, and they got him tied up, and they're trying to like extract like what information they can get from him and
Hmm.
whether they're doing what is that wall.
Yeah.
11 is obviously doing her typical powers. She's doing like some remote viewing of his mind, like what he's seeing, what he's
Hmm.
experiencing, what he experienced, what he sees in the lab. And like they go to a door, like what is behind that door, and goes right here. Like
Yeah.
he keeps asking like what's behind that door. He's like I don't know. And when 11 tries to go through she hits that again that craze, that sound, and she has to stop. She
Hmm.
has to stop that remote viewing session.
And 11 is convinced that Vecna is who is behind that door, and
Yep.
that the military have found Vecna, and they are keeping him rendered powerless with this same device that has been effective at stripping 11 of being able to use her powers. So she
Hmm.
sees this mysterious door, and this guy who is clearly fairly high up in the command as far as the soldiers go for the underground base,
Yeah.
and he just genuinely does not know behind that door.
Yep. So we do see later on what's really behind that door later on, but we'll
Yes, we do.
yes we do. We that will happen. That will come in time. So eventually we see what happened to Holly. Supposedly she's in this like weird land that Henry, aka Vecna, puts her in
Yep.
toward the end of the episode. So she's in this house that obviously Henry had grown up in. He
Hmm.
stayed with his family. I guess he's in this like fantasy land that he created for
Yep.
her and the rest of the kids that suppose he's going to be taking. And he's claiming that there's monsters in Hawkins. That's why they're here. We're here safe, and that he has room for all the other kids that he's going to be taking.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see Henry as opposed to Vecna. Vecna without his makeup, the adult version of Henry Creel,
Hmm.
and he's kind of set up this idyllic safe haven, if you will, for Holly Wheeler. Holly completely believes that Henry is her friend, her ally, that he's there to protect her from the monsters that are coming, and she is fully invested in this and believes it, and at least at this point she has no reason to think otherwise. And so she's grateful to be in this place where, unbeknownst to her, Henry is holding her captive.
Yeah. And he actually pointed out like beyond the playground there's like woods, and he's saying don't go in the woods, there's monsters in there.
Exactly. He tells her you absolutely categorically cannot go into the woods because that's where the monsters are. So yeah.
So she stays in the house for a while, pretty much enjoys herself in this fantasy that he created.
She's
So
baking brownies, making cakes. I mean, come on.
he's putting
Li-
dresses
lis-
on, and
Listening to Tiffany's, I think we're alone now. Was there anything cooler for a chick in the 80s to be doing? I say yes, but that's beside the point. At
yeah.
least, yeah. But yeah, it was really cool to see that, and they've done the Duffer Brothers did a really good job of creating that kind of that sense of safety and sanctuary from the
Mm-hmm.
perspective of Holly Wheeler. She's convinced that she's right where she should be, and it sucks to be taken from her family, but now she understands that where she's at, or so she believes, she's safe and nothing can happen to her, and her family will be protected as well, which of course is all, a crock that Henry or Vecna has fed to her, and that gets upended very shortly, does it not?
It does, yes. Which brings us to the next scene after she's like enjoying herself, dancing around and everything. And Vecna's, aka Henry, which Mr. Whatsit is gone, and I guess he's working on getting the next kid, the
Hmm.
fat kid with glasses. I think his name was Dustin. So that was his next target. So the next scene is, of course, Henry told Holly not to go into the woods because there's monsters. Don't go in there. She gets this letter in the mailbox, and it reads, "It's Henry. Meet me here at the X." And guess where the X is? Through the woods.
Hmm.
Like where? Like what? Henry told me not to go in the woods. What? Who? Why does he want me to do this now?
Yep.
Makes you wonder, like, why is this a specific target? He wants, like, now he wants her to go in the woods. Like, what's going on? So
Hmm.
she goes in. She goes like up back and forth, like, should I? Shouldn't I? But she goes in
Yeah,
the
of
woods.
course I should.
Yeah, yeah, of course. Typical
Well,
kid.
maybe I shouldn't. Yeah, of course I should.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So
so she makes her way through the woods, and she gets to approximately the place where she's supposed to be, and all of a sudden she hears the sound of someone coming,
mm-hmm.
and absolutely scared. And then we hear the sounds that she's hearing, the
Yep.
footsteps, and then we get the perspective of the feet of somebody that is walking towards her, and you're like, okay, who is this? And of course, my one of my kids immediately blurted out, "Oh my gosh, it's Eddie! Eddie's there with her!" And I'm like, well, I don't quite think that. No, I don't think it's going to be Eddie. And so then Holly starts to run away, and she ends up falling in this stream. And then the big reveal is we find out who's chasing her, and I'll let you do the reveal on that because it
Oh
was a big
yes.
reveal.
Oh yes. Let me just take this first one down. And she runs and hides. Of course, we're seeing Boots, like Boots and blue jeans, pretty
Yep.
much. Like, who is this person? Yes.
You're
Well,
thinking it's definitely a guy, right? Because
yeah.
it looks like men's work boots and men's
Mhm.
jeans, and maybe not.
It's AKA Max.
That's right,
Granted.
Max Mayfield, literally running up that hill. Right? What are the
Yeah.
odds?
And of course, she leads her back into the cave. She tells her what happened, everything that
Hmm.
happened with her. Like she's going through different memories. Let me go back and take this one down. I got like several photos here of illustrations. So she's pretty much telling Holly, Henry, Mr. Whatsa, is not what you think he is.
He
And this
is
is
the
what
big bad
happened.
wolf.
Pretty much the big bad wolf.
Yep.
So after what happened with Max, she takes Holly back to what happened to her afterwards when she went to the coma and almost died, or did die, and came back.
Hmm.
She tried to come back, but she ended up in different memories of Henry. This is one of them when she's going into the 1950s, 59 of Hawkins when they're getting ready for some type of play, high school, at the high school, and she keeps getting turned around to different horrible memories.
And Joyce is there. A very young Joyce Byers
Yes.
is one of the people that is revealed to be in that memory with Henry,
Hmm.
which I think is going to factor in as we move on down the episodes.
Yep, exactly. I'm not sure if I'm doing this like completely in order, but I'm trying since they went back and forth with the scene. Meanwhile, like in the right side up season, they're getting ready for the next kidnap. That they figured out that it was the next Dustin was the next person to. I think that was his name. The fat kid with the glasses that was annoying in the class. Annoying kid.
Derek.
Derek. There was his name.
Yeah.
Derek. Why did
Yep.
I say Dustin? Anyways,
Dipshit Derek.
did shit Darren. Yes. So they're trying. They're trying obviously to save him, and he's the next one in line. So they figure out, okay, how are we gonna save him and keep protect him from the Demogorgon trying to catch him. So they crank up this idea of making him fall asleep. So they made this pie. They all ate it except for one.
Erica. This is where we get to see Erica for the first time.
The
And
psycho.
remember, you can't have America without Erica. So Erica makes an appearance finally, and it is just absolute scene stealing from the get go.
Mm-hmm.
She's become one of my favorite characters
Yeah.
easily.
Yeah. I told you to eat your damn pie. So
Yep. So
they finally put the family out. They put them in like a safe haven, and they got everything set up to get in the house to capture this Demogorgon or try to keep them protected from this thing. What reminds me of is the that tripwire. It reminds me of Home Alone, the first Home Alone movie, when the
yep.
kid was trying to trip the guys that were breaking into the house. That's what it reminded me of. Like they got that from Home Alone,
Yep. 100%.
pretty much. Anyway, so
And if the Demogorgon could utter profanity, I guarantee you he was uttering it when it hit him. You frisser, risser, fresser.
he got nails built into him and everything, and he got water balloons thrown at him. All
Water
kinds of.
balloons filled with lighter fluid, might we add.
Oh yes. So eventually, the Demogorgon ends up going back into the Upside Down, and of course, Steve and everyone else in the car that was tracking it, they decide, okay, what are we gonna do? The portal's about to close, so they all in one decide, okay, let's go chase after it. So they do that, and they end up in the Upside Down as well.
Hmm.
Yep. And I'm like, whose bright idea
Yeah,
was this? Like, was it a good
and
idea to do that?
and just to backtrack a little bit, once again, as they've got Derek and his family stowed away in this barn,
Mm-hmm.
trying to entice the Demogorgon to come after it. Once again, as the Demogorgon is approaching this barn where Derek and his family is being held by Mike and Joyce and Will and
Mm-hmm.
everybody there and Erica, uh, as the Demogorgon is approaching, we see that Will can now see once again from the Demogorgon's perspective as it's
Yeah.
approaching the barn, and so there's this moment where the Demogorgon breaks through the barn, and up to this point, Derek absolutely is convinced that they're all there to cause him and his family harm. So Derek is not excited to be there. He doesn't believe them when they tell him that they're there to help save him and his family. But the Demogorgon breaks through the doors, and at one point it goes after Joyce, and the Demogorgon like stops and for a moment and doesn't really do anything. And then again we see that's about the time that Dustin and the crew arrive in the car, and Steve, our Steve, is the one that makes the decision to drive his Beamer through the portal that the Demogorgon escaped into to go into the Upside Down, and so now we find Dustin, Nancy, Jonathan, and Steve are now inside the Upside Down with Hopper and Eleven. Yep.
Yep, and guess what? They hit the same wall as they
Literally.
literally hit a wall. I feel bad for Steve's poor car.
Right.
Yep, his baby got hit.
Mm-hmm.
It
Yep.
crashed into the wall,
Yep.
and I guess it's not drivable anymore, so they're stuck.
Presumably. Yep.
Pretty much, yeah. So they try to rescue. So they figure out that okay, Vecna is coming after all these other kids besides Derek, and guess what the military does? They start taking the kids as bait. Originally, they're probably, I don't know how the parents are cooperating with this. I guess they're saying like they need to be protected because it's getting
Mm-hmm.
pretty much out of hand, especially after Holly had been abducted. So now they want
Right.
all the kids in Hawkins' lab of all places.
One centralized location. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. So that's what happened. Let me take this one down.
Because it's always just, another day at the office when the military comes knocking on your door and says, "Give us your kids." Right? What parent in their right mind is going to be like, "Oh, okay, yeah, kids have been driving me up the wall. You take them." Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So going back to Max and Holly, Max is saying like she got chased by obviously Henry and Vecna. She was trying to she was that pretty close to coming back from her coma, but
Mm-hmm.
then the music stopped, and then she hit a wall, and then she comes across Henry again. Henry chases her. She goes through this cave system, and then for some reason he stops. Like, what is with this cave that's
Right.
preventing him from going after her? Like, she's right there. Why isn't he like getting her? Like, he looks terrified. He looks pissed.
It's the first time we see Henry with a look of absolute abject terror on his face, and for whatever reason, something about those rocks and that cave that Max is hiding in is like Vecna's kryptonite for some reason.
Yeah. So I guess that keeps Max safe for now. I'm like, why is he? Is it like a memory that is so traumatic that he doesn't want to go in there?
Right.
Maybe, possibly. So after their after Max revealed everything that's going on with Holly, with uh, with Henry, she wants Holly to go back to the house. Like, why do you want her to go back? Like, they can't. Vecna can't see you that you're can't notice that you're gone. You got to go back.
Right.
So that's their new plan that they were hatching out. So eventually, meanwhile, on the right side up, they're trying to hack a plan. The kid Derek goes into the base, like, hey, my class is missing. So he goes
Mm-hmm.
in. So they're trying to figure out how are we going to get these kids out. So they go in through the tunnels in the underground, try to like dig up where the bathroom is. So they have a plan in getting the kids. Of course, Derek's got all the kids together that saw Mr. Whatsit,
Mm-hmm.
and they're one by one going in down in the into the underground where
Yep.
the tunnels are. Looks like a good idea. It was working so far, and then I get nervous because the water starts turning on. Like, oh no, it's on full blast, and they end up getting discovered, and all hell breaks loose after that. Unfortunately,
Literally. So as the kids are escaping down into this tunnel that Mike and Lucas have created underneath the barracks where the kids are being kept, one of the kids accidentally breaks one of the water pipes, and the leak starts, and it starts going out into the area where all the kids are. And one of the other kids, who is not somebody that Mr. Whatsit appeared to, sees the kids being snuck into the bathroom, and of course she blows the whistle and alerts the guards,
Yeah.
who then get there, and by this time there's already been like 4 or 5 kids have successfully gone down into the tunnels to be with Robin's there. Well, no, Robin's not there, but Joyce is there and whatnot. And so they basically catch them in the act, and so they get Joyce and they get Will and they get um, Mike, and they bring them all up, and they get Derek, and they basically capture them. Lucas is able to stay down in the tunnel with some of the kids, and he's trying to lead the kids away into safety.
Hmm.
And then all hell literally breaks loose.
Oh yeah. Meanwhile, in the Upside Down, Elle apparently was able to break into the Hawkins lab in the
Hmm.
Upside Down. Of course, eventually they get discovered, and there's like a fight that happens. I really thought Hawkins was gonna die eventually at that point, because he was suited up with a bomb and everything.
Yeah,
What are you doing? Yep.
there was a lot of foreshadowing going on there. I thought for sure that we were going to see uh, Hopper not make it. Like you said, he walks in there and he's clearly got a vest of explosives hidden underneath his jacket, and he's effectively saying his goodbye to 11, and it's just setting it up perfectly that, well, we're going to lose Hop, and you know the story then takes a turn that I certainly did not see coming, if anybody else did.
Yeah, it's kind of a good thing he didn't click that switch, but he was that close to pushing, because there's little to know. Eventually, we'll know what happened on who's on the other side of the door. So
Yep, yep,
11 goes
and
down this hallway. Let me take the other picture down. I gotta scroll back.
I was not expecting to see the person who they'd been hiding behind this doorway. If you had asked me before the series, before the season aired, of characters that I would have never expected to see again, this one would have been on that list. And when this character is shown, all of us in my family were literally jumping off the couch like, no effing way. So, so
Yeah,
yeah,
so she opens the door. Guess what? It's her sister.
it's
Number 8.
Callie,
Yep.
the one from the episodes that everybody hated in season 2.
Mm-hmm. They brought her back. I'm glad they brought her back. Like, yay, they can combine together now.
Yep, and this simple fact shows that the Duffer Brothers are not leaving any loose ends at all
Mm-hmm.
in all of the Stranger Things universe. The fact that they're bringing her back, and what role she's going to play moving forward, I can only speculate, but it was really damn cool to see that she was the one that they've been keeping hidden in that base,
Oh,
and
yep, yep.
imagine of how powerful the combination of Eleven and Callie working together, uh, and then this other person that we're going to talk about soon, who now has some powers that maybe even rival Eleven's degree of
Yep.
power. Yeah, they're setting up for something really huge. This is the beginning of that.
So, of course, all hell is breaking loose. We think everybody's gonna die because there's different demogorgons for each person, but then the demogorgons get frozen in the air, it's suspended in the air slowly. Like, who is this person doing that? Slowly,
Yep.
we see who's doing it, and it's Will.
Hmm.
He's got his. Of course, he's different from how 11 is doing it. He's got his eyes all white, but he's got his hand up instead of down, like 11
Hmm.
does. And he's got each
Yeah.
Demogorgon and each from each person that Demogorgon's trying to kill, and he's got him suspended. Of course, he kills them. They drop to the ground, and it shows that final scene, him to the ground with the nosebleed and everything. Like, wow, like he's officially the sorcerer now.
That is the money shot of perhaps
Mm-hmm.
the entire series. As all this time has been building up, and we've had little glimpses of it, but
Mm-hmm.
this is the first time where, like you were saying, You've got one Demogorgon and they've gone and they've basically killed all the military in the MAC-Z, which is the militarized zone in downtown Hawkins, where they're keeping all these people. And so you've got this Demogorgon that's in slow motion and jumping in the air, and it's got its claws out ready to pounce on Mike and kill Mike. And then you've got, in another part of Hawkins, you've got Robin and Murray have been trying to get some of the kids rescued away. Demogorgon attacks them, takes down the truck, and you got a Demogorgon that, again, in slow motion, it's jumping in the air, ready to rip Robin to shreds. And then the Demogorgon in the tunnel with Lucas, he's got a Demogorgon on either side of him, and there's no way Lucas is going to survive it. One of them's already taken a swipe at him across his chest, and it looks like Lucas is done for. And same thing, Demogorgons are going for him, and they all freeze. And you got Will just holding his hands up, his eyes turned white, kind of like Vecna's, and just you see he does to the Demogorgons exactly what Vecna did to Chrissy and Freddy and all the people that were killed by Vecna in that horrible, grotesque manner where they're levitated off the ground and he snaps their bones, really gruesome fashion. And
Yeah.
that's the big reveal is Will becomes not the wizard, because remember he was Will the Wise, and as Mike tells us in the series, the difference between a wizard and a sorcerer is that a wizard has to learn his powers, whereas with a sorcerer, the magical powers are innate. They're born with them, and they just develop them over time. So this is the moment where Will becomes the sorcerer, as it were, and that's actually the name of the episode. And we now see that Will has the power to, at the very least, control and destroy these Demogorgons. And
Yeah.
we haven't even seen 11 with a power this great, because Will, if you think about it, Will is connected to that hive mind. 11 is not. And so what I'm excited about moving forward here, I'm excited at the prospect of, we have 11. We now also have Callie, and now we have Will. And the three of them combined, Vecna doesn't stand a chance,
Yeah.
provided all three of them
If they're able
survive.
to, yeah, if
Right?
they're able to, if all three can combine their powers together,
Right.
yeah. So that's
So
something to see.
so that's why I was telling everybody, because there's a lot of people that are saying, "Oh, well, this fifth season, it's moving too slow, and it's not, it's just not as enjoyable to watch as the other previous seasons." And I'm like, these people must have been watching something other than what I was watching, because
Mhm.
again, every episode just is building and building and building,
Yeah,
and
exactly. It keeps you on
the
your seat too.
the last 20 minutes of this fourth episode, all the waiting that we've done since the last season ended, the last 20 minutes of this last episode, the fourth episode, called The Sorcerer here of season 5, that made the wait worth every second of it, because what the payoff is, the biggest payoff I think we've ever had in the Stranger Things universe. And it only makes me more excited, but also sad and slightly terrified to see what comes at us on Christmas Day, because we get the next 3 episodes on Christmas Day, and then of course
Mhm.
1 week later we get the grand finale. And
A few days later.
yeah, the running time on the next 3 episodes is all like almost an hour and a half, almost each one of these
Yep.
next 3 episodes. So, and then the grand finale is just a little bit over 2 hours. So we're basically looking at almost 7-8 hours more of Stranger Things goodness. And I'm still concerned as to who's going to make it to the end. And I still feel at this moment, anybody, the only one that I think for sure is going to live is Nancy Wheeler, just because they've already talked about there's going to be a spin-off series that's going to focus on Nancy. So if that's true, it would make sense that Nancy obviously is going to survive to the end of the series. But literally at this point, anybody else, I think all bets are off, and really anybody has the potential to not survive to the end. which
Yeah,
is exciting and terrifying.
yeah, Robert's saying, I'm watching it in the movie theater. Me too, Robert. Me too. I'm
I
planning on.
wanted I wanted to, but the theater right nearby where I am, they sold out within the first 10 minutes of putting tickets on sale. So that's why I'm kind of hoping you can still see it at home on New Year's Eve, as opposed to no, you've got to go to the movie theater. Because if they do that, I'm going to be pissed.
Yeah, I would be pissed too if they do that. So I didn't know they were selling them tickets now. It's pretty early. It's
Yep.
pretty. So I got a question for you. I know you like Steve. Is there another character that you don't want to die? Like, what are the two main characters that you don't want in the season?
Well, Steve, yeah, Steve, I'm 100% Team Steve. Steve is my absolute favorite character in the Stranger Things universe. After Steve, the only other one that I really would have a hard time seeing die would be either Dustin or maybe Will. And I think they're setting up Will to be a bit of a tragic story. I hope not, because I don't really want to see Joyce Byers lose one or even, heaven forbid, both of her sons.
Yeah.
So I really genuinely don't want to see any of these characters that we've lived with for the last 10 years and watch them. In the case of the kids, they've literally grown up before our eyes,
Oh yeah.
um, and I don't want to see any of them die. But I have a feeling that Dustin, Dustin's in a lot of danger. I don't see Mike dying now as much as I thought he might, but Will seems to have a bit of a target on his back,
Hmm.
and I I don't know. But I also don't want Hopper to die. I mean, Hopper's kind of become like, the Rambo's dad, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I really and Murray. I like Murray. I like the character arc that they've done with Murray. Erica, I don't see them killing Erica because she's just too much. I mean, she's Erica.
Yeah.
If there's one person that Vecna should be terrified of, it's Erica. So I don't see Erica dying. Um, but yeah, I'd have to say maybe Dustin after Steve is the one I do not want to see die. But really at this point, anything could happen.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it would be 11 and Hopper. And I
Yeah,
was relieved Hopper didn't die.
yeah.
So I'm looking forward to next season. Next few episodes of the fifth season. Thank you, Jim, for
Yeah,
joining us, and everybody. Thank you for joining us. Season 5 recap, and the next seasons are 3 episodes on Christmas Day, and the next few days on New Year's Eve will be the
the grand
finale.
finale. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Well, thank you for having me. It's always been a pleasure to come on your show, and we'll
problem.
have to do this again. Maybe once the next 3 episodes air, if we're
Yeah.
not too much of an emotional wreck
Oh yeah. If
after
you're
after seeing it.
available, yeah, if you're available, that would be great. If
Yep,
we could do that.
yep, absolutely.
Okay, I apologize for the tech issues. At least we're able to broadcast on YouTube, so that's a good thing.
Word.
Yeah. Have a good
Rock
day.
on, folks.
Have a good night, guys.
See ya.
Okay. Yeah, there we go.